And this week it's going to be called Firewood. Who are we firing on this morning? Damien Woody.
Oh, Greeny, man, we got to go down to the big D with the Dallas Cowboys, man. I'll tell you what, I almost picked I picked the Cowboys last year to go to the Super Bowl. I almost did it again this year. Almost. Boy, I am glad I didn't, because I tell you what, the Cleveland Browns came into Jerry's world, literally pointed to them and said, "Your soul is mine," because they were tossing people out of the club, Greeny, tossing them out of the club on defense. You're talking about a Dallas Cowboys team that gave up 307 yards rushing. Let me repeat that. 307 yards rushing. The Dallas Cowboys got Zeke Elliott. The Cleveland Browns are like, I don't give a damn you got Zeke Elliott, because we got some dogs over here. We got dogs over here in Cleveland. And the worst thing about it was Nick Chubb didn't even play a quarter. He got hurt, and they still ran rush shot over the Dallas Cowboys. The effort stunk. The coaching was awful, and I see Dominique right there crying. And Dominique, okay, your Dak Prescott and that offense, they were bad too. They out there bumbling and stuff like that, putting up a whole bunch of fake stats, inflating the stats. So all around, I'm not going to give any shout-outs to anybody on Dallas, because Dallas is pathetic for letting the Cleveland Browns come in there and destroy them. This is a team, okay? This is a team in the Dallas Cowboys that has given up 38 points or more in 3 straight games. We should shoot the Dallas Cowboys to Venus at this point, because they are awful. They're an awful football team. They're not deserving of our attention, but I'm going to give them the attention that they want today, because they are awful.
I thought we were just firing them. Now we're shooting people off to other planets. I just can't take it. I love this. I love the D Wood segment so much. Like, it's just hilarious. I feel like the fact that we change the name every week to some wood-based puns. We like reverse engineer. We're like, what wood pun can we have? And then we find a topic D Wood. It is just the perfect distillation of how stupid TV is, and I love it. It's just great.
It's exactly what we are doing. I have suggested, as you did last week, petrified wood for next week. Who are we afraid to watch play?
Greeny, there you go. There you go, Greeny, petrified wood. That's it.
Okay, we'll do that. Let me move on to the next order of business here. Let's talk about young quarterbacks. After a rough debut in which he finished with a pick and 0 touchdown passes, Joe Burrow has now thrown 6 touchdowns in his last 3 games, picked up a tie, and then his first win against the Jaguars. And I think everyone agrees Joe Burrow has been terrific so far for Cincinnati. Meanwhile, Justin Herbert, too. He hasn't managed to win a game yet, but all 3 of his losses for the Chargers have been by a touchdown or less. He's actually 12th in the league in QBR, ahead of Tom Brady and Cam Newton, to name a few. He has been rushed into duty, and he's looked really good. And that brings us to Tua. Still yet to take the field. The Dolphins are 1-3. They're 24th in points per game. So, Coach Brian Flores, when should we expect to see Tua?
I mean, the honest thing for me is, if it was my kid and he had a serious injury like that, I wouldn't want his coach to be in a rush to throw him in there because of media pressure or anything like that. So that's kind of how I approach this situation, and really all situations with the players. They are my kids. No one's going to pressure me into doing anything. And when we feel like he's ready to go, we'll put him in.
All right, again, I will continue to say I think that's curious, because he is the backup. He's one big hit to Ryan Fitzpatrick away from going in the game anyway. But, Dominique, I'll put 45 seconds on the clock. You're up first. When should the Dolphins put Tua on the field?
I feel like as soon as he's healthy. I don't know who they think they're fooling. Like, obviously, Fitzpatrick is able to give them a spark every now and then, and he's a very good backup-style quarterback or bridge quarterback, but their future is in Tua, and Tua doesn't get better by being on the bench. I think we sometimes get a little too cute when we start thinking about, well, the O-line has to be perfect, the defense has to be perfect, the receivers have to be perfect. You get better by getting on the field and experiencing yourself. And their first championship window, and that's assuming that they may have some in their future, for any team, when you get a young quarterback, that championship window is when that quarterback is on the rookie deal. And as soon as you can get him up to speed, get him as good as possible, and use all those draft picks that they have been stockpiling to build up around him, that's when you can put your team in position to win a championship. So I think get him out there and get him some experience as soon as you can.
All right, that's our first on the clock. The next one, D. Wood, is for you. You just talked about what the Browns did to the Cowboys. You took the Cowboys side of it. Let's take the Cleveland side of it. Damien Woody, are the Browns a playoff team? 45 seconds, go.
Greeny, I'm going to have to say yes. I mean, with the expansion of the playoffs, with each conference getting one extra team in the playoffs, yes. I mean, listen, when you look at the Cleveland Browns, they're playing winning football. You look at turnover margin, they're one of the best in the league. Rushing, I think they're the best team in the league. And I got to give a shout out to my former O-line coach, Bill Callahan, who's now the offensive line coach in Cleveland, because he is just doing a masterful job drawing up that rushing attack. And if they can continue with this formula, that the way the style they're playing, they're going to be in the playoffs this year.
I like it. We don't even need all the 45 seconds, but it's a good take there, and we'll see. They may step up in class a little bit as they still have to play the Steelers coming up here. Last one, and Desmond Howard, this one's going to be for you. You're a Big Ten guy. I'm a Big Ten guy. We both saw Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State have one of the greatest season any quarterback in the conference ever had. But he's struggling. Should Washington consider benching Dwayne Haskins? 45 seconds. Desmond Howard, what do you think?
Absolutely. It has to be under consideration, because if you look at the young man play right now, it's obvious that he's not comfortable. He has happy feet in the pocket. He gets locked in on one receiver, and then when that receiver is covered, he doesn't know what to do with the ball. He starts to hesitate, starts to pat the ball, holds onto the ball way too long, takes too many unnecessary sacks. It just appears as though the game is either too fast for him or he's ill prepared for it at this point. And now he's actually showing everybody why on draft day, the New York Giants, they picked Daniel Jones and left him out there for another team to select. Remember, he seemed like he was so upset. He was going to get revenge on all these other teams. He hasn't turned out to be that guy just yet. Kyle Allen is about to start for the Washington.